Welcome, everyone, to the Incredicast Podcast. I'm Adam Hurst here with David Kerrigan. This past weekend, NASCAR went to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a place where other teams tried to take a gamble and get around the 4-car. But that 4-car...
Man, was he on it, man.
It was on rails out there this past Sunday. It was just...
He didn't even get pole.
Started second, and managed to get around Blaney on lap 2. Almost lap 1.
It was it after that, though, man.
It was lights out for the field. Kevin Harvick manages to get a second win of the season in the third race. That's already 13 playoff points that you can take to the playoffs. So that's really impressive by Kevin.
Who contender, possibly?
I would say definitely a new contender.
If you're Martin Truex Jr., are you beginning to have something in your pants right now? Or is it...
Well, I could see that you would be a little anxious.
Does it smell and is it wet?
Probably. I would say so, because last year you could go to these tracks and you would just dominate, do whatever you want with the field. Now some other guy's doing that with you.
Yeah.
You're the guy trying to catch up, so it's going to be interesting to see if Martin Truex can change his pants before the end of this season.
Well, for sure. And the hope of the field really isn't too well, because the next track is a track where Harvick has had a lot of previous wins and success.
Well, I mean,
at Phoenix, but
I wonder how much success. Oh yeah, 8 wins.
Yeah,
yes.
That's okay. But what happened, Adam?
Well, this race, not a lot happened. It was one of those races where if you're not a Harvick fan, not a Ford fan, you could just fall asleep, wake up at the end of the race, and oh, cool, he won. But other than that, through second on back to 37th, we had some pretty good battles for second and third throughout the race. So that was pretty interesting. No cautions happened during stage 1, I don't believe. We did have an interesting pit cycle with the pit guns. There were still some issues with those, not race ending or anything. Denny Hamlin had a penalty on pit road, basically costed him his day. A lot of those penalties for Hamlin in the recent years. I don't know why it's always Hamlin though. Like, is it something?
I don't really know. Yeah.
But we'll see if he can manage to do better in the next race at Phoenix. See if he can come back from that.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw it the 78 of Truex Jr. I don't know why, because the fuel man, he now only has one job to do. They were not able to get all the fuel in the car on that stop. So...
Yeah, and he did manage to make it all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it was an actual issue or how much fuel that they actually got in there, but he did manage to make it through the rest of the way. Don't remember where he finished this stage. I believe it was second.
Yeah.
So still good for him. Still
it was P2.
Saved enough fuel to make it to the end. Kevin Harvick manages to win stage 1.
And 2.
And technically 3 if you would add the
Anyways, yeah, exactly.
Moving on to stage 2, though. Same story, I would say.
Yeah. The 4 leads early on. The 4, he had his own zip code, really. Wouldn't you say? I mean, he was so far ahead.
They just figured
the
something
whole
out.
race.
Yeah.
They really did.
They figured something out to just drive away with it. We saw it last year at Texas, not as much as dominating fashion as he did here at Las Vegas, but he did manage to get around Martin Truex, and that would be the beginning of Harvick's 1.5 mile dominance. It's going to be interesting to see if he can continue that throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah. And we saw also the 48 car of our boy Jimbo Johnson. He had to save his car in turn 3. It got really loose on the apron, and he had to check up. And the rear end, man, that car popped out from behind him, and he saved it. So, I mean, when you have 7 championships like him, you know,
you could do anything.
Yeah, you really could.
Drive that thing down pit road sideways if you wanted to. Do whatever. You know, you're a 7-time champion.
It's happened before, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the third stage, we began to see some trials, some problems coming in, as we saw with the 4 car actually, at the pit stop.
Yeah.
He lost 4 positions on pit road, I believe.
He was way down deep in the field, the furthest he's ever been. 4th place.
No, 5th, even
5th.
worse.
Yeah.
So much worse, right?
It was great to see him come from the back, make it all the way to the front. But yeah.
On the top 5, into the top 5.
Yeah. But then we had a caution. Jamie McMurray started the first caution of 2. That's not stages. But something happened with McMurray. They just ran into the wall. Ended his day though.
Yeah, the right front appeared to be blown out.
Yeah.
So that's, we believe, that is what happened to him. Right front, when he was going into turn 3, and he just got hooked on that wall. So
yeah, I know the announcers in the broadcast booth was talking about how he was running the top lane. The longest way around that track. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Rim riding it. Yeah,
rim riding. But then we had another caution to come out. They pitted. Martin Truex Jr. decided no, he didn't need tires.
We don't need tires at 1.5 miles.
It reminds me of Cars. You remember that? Where you need tires.
No tires, just gas. You idiot. But yeah, and as we go into tires, someone who had 4 tires, however, would have helped him if he had possibly 6 or 8, was Kurt Busch, he got loose off the exit of turn 4, and would you look at that? A bird, a plane? No, it's wrong place, Chase. Chase Elliott was in the wrong place at the worst time possible, and he got, just slammed into the wall by the 41, and both the 9 and the 41 were gone.
They were having great days too, so that's really unfortunate for them.
Yeah. Both cars in the top 10. So
yeah, Kurt was going for a hometown win. He will be trying that again in the playoffs. A lot of people during the broadcast was talking about he'll have to wait another year. No, it's not another year. A few months, but
we come here again in the playoffs?
Yeah, they switched it for New Hampshire.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they come back in the playoffs.
Wow.
In September. Really good for Harvick though. Because
yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
I liked having New Hampshire in the playoffs though.
Yeah. Well, they decided to put Richmond in and also Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
In the first round, so towards the ending of the playoffs, we'll go back to normal playoffs. But first round is Richmond, Vegas, then Roval.
So, oh no! Oh, why?
very interesting. But anyways, we move into...
Either way, we saw the 18 at the end of the race tried so hard to etch the Ford Harvick. Had tires. The real problem was the Ford car was freaky fast. I mean, in lap traffic, clean air, dirty air, that Ford car, he was the fastest out there during the entire race.
Yeah.
The first stage, stage 2, stage 3, the end, so that would be it for the whole field. As the Ford car, he would lead
about 215 laps.
a lot of laps.
A lot.
A lot.
Let's see. Let's do our calculations here. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay.
A lot. And the Ford car would hail, really.
Which, a fun fact about Kevin Harvick leading all those laps, he was just 2 laps shy of the most laps led in a single race at Las Vegas. The holder of that record is Jeff Gordon.
Who got third in that race?
Third in that race, yeah. So,
how do you not win that race? You lead all those laps.
Well, 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson won that race. So.
Oh, okay. Scratch that. We know how it happened.
Yeah, we know how.
But yeah, so Harvick, he has now 2 wins in the 2018 NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series. I screwed that up, didn't I? It's Monster Energy. Who cares? Kevin Harvick has 2 wins now in the Cup Series currently this year. And he leads Austin Dillon now in the points by 41 points.
Oh, wow.
In 3 races.
3 races.
So he's on it. He has a whole lot of stage points, playoff points, cup points. I don't care, what you call it. He has a lot of them currently. So
just sitting in the bank, ready for the playoffs.
Ready to deposit. So yes, we go to now his other favorite track. Where are we going, Adam?
A place that you could say is Kevin Harvick Raceway.
Phoenix
ISM, whatever in the world that you want to call this.
It's out in the west somewhere in the desert, okay?
It's the track with the blue walls. Do they still have blue walls? I don't know.
Who knows, right? That would be a good thing.
Do they even have walls anymore? Who knows?
But yes, so.
But yeah, it is a place that Kevin Harvick, pretty good there. As I mentioned before, 8 wins. He's beat Jimmy Johnson there a few times.
Yeah, and it just so happens that 4 of those wins were in a row, from fall to spring to fall to spring.
And a lot of them have come from the 4 car, so it's not like he did all that in the 29. So
yeah.
He's going to see if he can bring that Phoenix Magic back, or ISM Magic, whatever the world you want to call it. Because he hasn't won there in the past 3 races, or 4. I can't necessarily remember how many.
He's been up there, though.
He's been up there. So now with that new speed, we'll see if he can get back in victory lane at Phoenix. But speaking of who can win Phoenix, who do you think will go on to win the 4th race?
Whew. Well, I believe the Fords are still going to be up there. As we've seen in every single race, the Fords are indeed fast. I'm going to pick, however, the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. He got pole at Las Vegas. He was really strong at Vegas. He was strong in the 500 even. He was strong at Atlanta. Just Harvick was much faster. I'm going to pick the 12 of Blaney. He's been doing really good with his first few races with his new team. So, yeah.
Yeah, he got the pole there last year. So, in the playoff race. So, we'll see if he can bring it back to the pole. Maybe do the same exact thing Harvick did this race. But for me, however, I am going to pick the 18 Kyle Busch.
Wow.
He was up there last year. probably should have won that race last year, but Ryan Newman, Rocket Man, decides to take home the victory. Hello, Newman. Hello, victory lane for him. But I think Kyle Busch is good there. I think he's found what Harvick had there at the beginning of last year. And I think the 18 will go in victory lane.
I could see that.
Obviously, easy pick would be Harvick, but...
Yeah. I would say, though, that in these past 2 weeks of Harvick just being so far out ahead of the entire field, neither of us have picked him. So
maybe he's going to prove us wrong again.
Will he have his third straight win of the season?
Harvick's never won 3 in a row. Last week he was saying that he wanted to get his 100th win. Now he's saying he's won
his 100th win.
Yeah. Now he has his 100th win. Was talking before the race, was like, yeah, it's probably not possible for him to win 2 in a row because, but Harvick does. And Harvick does.
It happens, so.
Harvick does what Harvick does and decides to win. Could happen at Phoenix. But also look out for the 18 and 12. They're going to be a factor. They're going to try to hold off Kevin Harvick and say, no, you're not going to win 75% of these races.
So.
But good race this past weekend, I would say. Moving on to Phoenix, ISM, Jeff Gordon Raceway, Kevin Harvick Raceway, Raceway with Blue Walls, whatever it is now. Be looking forward to making another podcast about that one. And hope you guys have a great week.